Let's see, next on our agenda is stepping up and making it happen. And this is an outstanding opportunity. We will have Rich Muir from 3M join us at the podium shortly. And then we'll go to Brendan. Brendan, are you there? I'm just...
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So Brendan's from Greenfield Global in Johnstown. After both presentations are complete, if we have time permitting, we will open it up. But first, we're going to start with Rich from 3M, and I'm going to turn the podium over to him because he's joining us here live in our studio. Rich, can you join us?
Thanks, Anne. So we're ready to go?
You're good.
All right. Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited about this opportunity to tell the story about N95 manufacturing here in Brockville. I'll start just by, next slide, please. Great, thank you. So I'll start just by describing 3M as a company. And this slide here very well describes 3M as a company. It starts with our vision as a company. So technology, products, and innovation, which is at the heart of our company's strengths, our priorities, and our values. And certainly you can find all of these elements as part of 3M Brockville. That we take the vision, we take the strengths, we take our priorities and our values, and we use them to become successful in Brockville. In our Brockville facilities, and we have 4 facilities here in Brockville, what you'll find is particularly, I'd like to highlight the strengths that we have. So we have strengths in technology and manufacturing. We have in our buildings, we have leading world-class technology and manufacturing to help support our operations in Brockville. Next slide, please. So at the heart of 3M is 3M's a global and science innovation company, and innovation is really at the heart of everything that we do. We have a unique culture that is driven by innovation, collaboration. We have products that are differentiated in the workplace and an extraordinary record of innovation. We have over 122,000 global patents, and every year we add another 3,500 patents to that list of innovation engine that we have. As a company, we're made up of 4 different business groups: safety, industrial, transportation, electronics, healthcare, and consumer. In Brockville, we service 3 of those 4 business groups: the safety, industrial, healthcare, and consumer groups. Well, we'll talk a little bit about how we stepped up as a company through the pandemic, and particularly the safety industrial part of our business and how we stepped up. 3M Canada is the first subsidiary of 3M, and one of the 10 largest subsidiaries that we have of 3M globally. We have 8 manufacturing facilities in Canada, including half of those facilities here in Eastern Ontario, in Perth and in Brockville. Innovation and sustainability is at the heart of those manufacturing facilities. We're continuously striving to innovate and create solutions that drive sustainability. That is absolutely evident in our Brockville masking tape facility. That facility was awarded, or was the first certified facility to the ISO 50001 and SAP energy management standards. We are leading class in terms of our ability to manage energy in all 4 of our facilities here in Brockville. And that's part of the heart of sustainability that we're trying to achieve as a company. In 2018, we also announced a direct link between sustainability and innovation, and we call it our sustainability value commitment. 3M Brockville got established in, I'll just go back a slide. 3M Brockville got established about 10 years, or about 30 years ago, with a masking tape facility on California Avenue. About 10 years later, we expanded. 3M acquired Raycal, and with it, the 2 facilities that we had on California Avenue. And then last year, we've expanded further, and we expanded with the addition and the building of our N95 facility on California Avenue as well. Thank you. Next slide. So the theme of stepping it up and making it happen couldn't be better illustrated through the way 3M responded through the pandemic. First off, we ensured that we had the safety of all our employees as our top priority. And that was really important. Our employees continued to work. We were essential services, and it's very important that we produce the products that are required to protect healthcare workers and first responders. So that was our absolute number one priority, and we've ensured that throughout the pandemic and through the waves of the pandemic. We also started to produce product, or increased our production of product that would support healthcare workers and first responders. In 2020, we produced over 2 billion respirators globally. That tripled our production from 2019. That was the capacity that we added globally to help support the needs of first responders, healthcare workers, and people globally who needed personal protective devices. Our manufacturing facility in Brockville was no different. We responded. We had people that were working throughout the pandemic in our facilities, and working hard then to start our N95 plant so that we could respond to the needs of Canadians through the pandemic. Next slide, please. So this is the exciting part of what we'd like to get into and talk about what we got started here with N95 manufacturing here in Brockville. So early in the pandemic, it became obvious that there was an unprecedented demand for respirators, and our team here in Brockville realized, our team in Canada realized that we needed to take a look at the feasibility of producing N95 respirators to support Canadians and to meet the needs of Canadians and Canadian health care workers through the pandemic. We realized we had expertise, we had space, we had people, and we had the partnerships in place to make this happen. But it took a lot of hard work to make it happen. Our folks had spent countless hours in meetings, collaborating with folks globally in the US and around the world to determine how we could quickly start producing N95 respirators. Our folks here in Brockville locally traveled at the height of the pandemic, spending time away from their families, spending time on holidays and on weekends and evenings to learn how to produce N95 product and do it as quickly as we could to respond to the needs of folks. So it's just a tremendous team effort from the team here in Canada and globally to support the domestic manufacturing of N95 product. Our construction of the N95 facility on California Avenue started in September 2020, and we completed it ahead of schedule in the spring of 2021 to meet the needs of Canadians and to produce N95 respirators. We shipped over 1 million respirators within 7 months of a shovel hitting the ground to support this facility. So just a tremendous accomplishment by the entire team here in Brockville and the folks that then learned how to produce this product very quickly. The domestic manufacturing of N95 respirators was made possible through a collaboration. 3M, the federal government, and the provincial government all worked together to make this happen and to help ensure that we could respond quickly to the needs of Canadians. We're extremely proud of our part of that, our part in this effort to make this happen, and we're really honored that we were given the opportunity to help out Canadians through the pandemic. So what I'd like to do then is move to a video that that expresses just the pride of 3Mers to have been part of this project and to be part of manufacturing N95 respirators for Canadians.
We put a shovel in the ground for the first time in September, and 7 months later, we are producing respirators and shipping respirators to customers in need.
Having an N95 production site within Canada is very important for Canadians because that ensures that we can be self-sufficient.
Every respirator that goes on one of those trailers is the highest performance respirator we could possibly give our customers.
We are helping the nurses, the doctors, the hospitals. We're helping everybody out there with this new line.
It's the light at the end of the tunnel and knowing that those trailers were going to ship. You know, those respirators would be in the hands of the people that need them.
It's the beginning steps of 3M Brockville supporting Canada with respirators.
My kids are so proud every day, knowing that you're on something that is going to affect so many different people's lives. It's amazing to be part of that.
Thank you. So I get goosebumps. I couldn't see the video, it wasn't showing here, but I could hear the voices and I recognize the voices of the folks that were involved in this. And I hear the pride in their voices. The folks that you saw on that video all traveled and all spent time away from their families. And in fact, one of those folks on that video spent their Christmas holiday in Wisconsin to learn how to make N95 respirators and better support our startup. So just a tremendous amount of pride in our facility and across Canada for the work that was done to support this. This next slide is maybe also the slide that I'm most proud of through this presentation. And it's the response of our customers to having delivered N95 respirators to them when they needed it the most. I can recall sitting at home one evening when I got a chance to get away from the plant through the startup and getting a chance to read these. And it certainly was inspirational and motivational to see that our customers at the time of need and they needed these respirators said things like, can you think of a more beautiful sight than to see these respirators show up on their docks? So certainly we feel very proud of our ability to met the needs of our customers and the needs of Canadians, healthcare workers through the pandemic. So we stepped up for our customers through the pandemic, but we also continue to step up, and we've always stepped up for our communities. We operate in a number of different communities. I mentioned Perth and Brockville, London, Morden, Manitoba, Chicoutimi. We are a large part of all our communities in Canada. And one of the ways that we've stepped up most recently here in Canada is through the 3M Harvest Lunch. We've always been partner with the United Way to help support our community through payroll deductions and through our folks volunteering time with the United Way. In this most recent year, we became more involved with the Harvest Lunch, and we have pictures here of some of our 3Mers that were directly involved in volunteering through the Harvest Lunch. So we'd also like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who supported. I'm sure there's many people on this call that were also part of the support of the 3M United Way Harvest Lunch, and thank everyone for their support of the community. So we have a program in 3M. 3M Gives. 3M Gives supports our communities in many different ways. We have leader sponsorship of people being involved in helping to support our communities and getting involved in different activities. United Way Harvest Lunch is a good example. Seed collection days, Skills Ontario judges. We take our science and engineering expertise and use it to help judge science fairs. That's a large part of what we do to help support our communities. We also have employee donations that through the United Way, through a national corporate giving program, and 3M matches our donations as employees so that we can support the communities that we live in and do more for the communities that we live in. And then finally, a large part of what we're trying to do is support our communities through sustainable actions. So we work to improve lives and build sustainable communities through global investment and through the local engagement of our folks. We support our communities through education, so STEM programs. Our 3M Gives program, the three pillars of that program are education, environment, and community. So we work through education to invest our communities and engage 3Mers to support programs, particularly science-based STEM programs, to make sure people have access to science classes, to make sure that we have a diverse population that is joining the STEM community and helping develop solutions, sustainable solutions for not only local communities, but for our global community. We do that within the environment. We have partnered with Learning for Sustainable Future so that we can give students and teachers across Canada address the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals in the classroom and through extracurriculars. And then of course, there's communities. We support communities through the time that we spend in our community as 3Mers volunteering our time. And we support communities through the efforts of United Way and other programs like Big Brothers, Big Sisters here in Brockville. And that was it. I wanted to say thank you for the time today. I really enjoyed the opportunity to be able to share what we've done here in Brockville. We are extremely proud of the facility. This picture shows 3Mers standing in front of our 3M trailer shipping N95 respirators to Canadians. We're all extremely proud, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak about this today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rich. And don't run too far because we'll see if we've got some questions at the end. But right now I'm going to turn it over to Brandon from Greenfield Global to share what's happening in Johnstown. Brandon, over to you.
All right. My name is Brendan Bland, as Ann said. So I work in Johnstown at the Greenfield Global facility. I'm the plant manager. Next slide, please. So I figured I'd start out and just explain a little bit about who Greenfield is and what we do. So some of you may or may not know, we produce ethanol at the distillery in Johnstown. And what our ethanol is used for is not really that commonly known by people. So it ends up becoming a raw material or an ingredient or an additive in other people's products. And so these products can be mission critical types of products, such as hand sanitizer or fuel. Across our company, it's a very big company now. We call ourselves Greenfield Global for a reason. We are in 60 plus countries now. We have various grades, various blends, various package sizes of alcohols, specialty solvents, ethanol, and they all distribute to, different business units, such as life sciences, food, flavor, fragrance, industrial, sanitizers, medical grade sanitizers, beverage, and probably our biggest segment is renewable energy. Next slide, please. So the company's been around for 30 plus years now. It started in 1989. It was founded on a research and development type grant. They were trying to figure out how to take waste Jerusalem artichokes and convert them into ethanol. Let's just say it didn't work. We converted the plant over to corn, and since then it's been a tremendous growth trajectory for the business. So a small little plant in Tiverton still exists, still producing very efficiently, still producing high purity alcohol. Come 1991, the company changed names from Sunroot and into commercial alcohols and purchased a company in Quebec, which was a distribution and warehouse. They then built their own distribution and warehouse and packaging facility in Chelsea, Brampton, Ontario. 1997, we opened a very large, almost 200 million liter production facility, distillery in Chatham, Ontario. Come 2002 and 2006, we acquired two companies in the US, both with packaging and warehouse capabilities. And then 2007, 2008 was really the expansion of the renewable energy portion of our business. They built two distilleries, one in Varennes, Quebec, and the one here in Johnstown. And our predominant business at that time was renewable energy. So we make ethanol that gets blended with gasoline. In 2013, we built a R&D facility and started getting into anaerobic digestion and a few other segments, green gas. Come 2016, we rebranded the company and changed the name to Greenfield Global from Greenfield Specialty Alcohols. And then in 2019, we underwent a little bit of an internal reorganization where we split the company up into 3 business units, and I'll speak to that later on. You can just do the next click. I want to highlight one small thing. So in 2019, this is pre-pandemic, the Johnstown site specifically was starting to investigate, what are our opportunities in Europe? And so we'd applied for some funding through the Grenville Community Futures Development Corporation, and were awarded that funding. And basically, it was going to allow us to build a secondary loadout, which would let us ship our products to Europe. Next slide, please. I'm going to just go back a step and talk about the Johnstown site to give everybody a high-level view. So it opened in December of 2008. We now make 252 million liters of fuel-grade ethanol a year. The original investment was 185 million, and we're currently putting another 105 million in, specific to producing very high-quality alcohol, which will be used for pharmaceuticals, sanitizers, medical-grade applications. We started out with 52 employees. We grew over the years to 57. And in this calendar year, as a result of this expansion, we've added 12 employees. We consume a lot of local corn, 23 million bushels. We produce dried distillers grains, which goes to feed, cows, pigs, chickens in the area. We produce corn oil. We also produce carbon dioxide with our partner Air Liquide. And we are ISO certified and also certified on 2 standards, which lets us ship some of our products to Europe. Next slide, please. So more recently, in terms of our pandemic response, January of 2020 came, we all know this story. By March of 2020, we were in lockdown. I remember the day, it was a Thursday, we got the message, the province was locked down. I remember coming to work on the Friday morning, and that is when we assembled a cross-functional team. And when I say that, I mean that, we had people involved at all layers of the organization within the plant, as well as, at our R&D facilities, focusing on what we could do to improve and reduce the impurities that are in our fuel grade alcohol to make it safe for use as hand sanitizer. So after weeks of tirelessly working and, working with Health Canada, doing numerous trials at the plant level, we were the first in Canada to receive approval to produce technical grade of alcohol, which is used in hand sanitizer. Very proud of the team here. It was definitely a team effort. And I think everybody at the site and within the company is very proud of this accomplishment. In that first month of April and May, we shipped more than 4 million liters of ethanol that was used in hand sanitizer. Later that year, so this project and this agile response to the pandemic got the company thinking, we want to do a bigger investment and we want to make sure that we're ready in the future to be able to provide hand sanitizer of the proper USP pharmaceutical grade to the domestic Ontario and Canadian market. So fortunately, we were awarded a grant from the Ontario Together Fund, MPP Clark and MP Barrett and Mayor Pat Seo were here to present that. I'll go to the next slide. So I'd just like to say thank you to all of them. That event took place last October. We were very proud to receive this funding. And the last picture there, who I didn't mention, that's Ken Field, the founder and the chairman of Greenfield Global. Next slide, please. And that's a nice photo up, including everyone in front of our Johnstown plant. Next slide. So we get into the recent timelines. We talked 2021. As of April 7th this year, we started construction for the new expansion we plan on doing. It might be difficult to see in that last picture. It's November now. We're not complete construction yet, but we're well on our way. We expect to be, producing in Q2 of next year. Next slide, please. Here's a picture of what the site looked like in April. So you can tell in the bottom right-hand corner, there's not much there. It's more green space. If you can click the next slide for the next photo. So we've managed to complete the tank farm. We've completed the pipe rack. We've completed the rail expansion. We're still focusing on getting our boiler building and our distillation columns installed. Next click. So there's some aerial shots of how we're doing. Okay, next slide, please. Just to talk a little bit more about the business, I mentioned earlier, we're a diversified business. We focus on specialty chemicals and ingredients. We have a beverage and distilled spirits division, and we also have renewable energy. So Greenfield's very focused on sustainability. Next slide, please. So a few of the projects we're doing with respect to R&D, we've got Truly Green Farms in Chatham, where we provide our CO2 and waste heat to them, and they use that to heat their greenhouse and also provide CO2 for the growth of the plants within the greenhouse. We've got an anaerobic digestion facility set up in Varennes, Quebec, where we take municipal waste and digest that waste and turn it into green biogas, and that is consumed by the Varennes facility in their thermal oxidizer. We're known to be very good at fermentation and yield performance. We've got an R&D facility also in Varennes where we can do, small scale distillation and fermentation trials. We're also looking at low carbon intensity feedstocks. And in terms of, the growth opportunities for tomorrow, there's opportunities with the cannabis industry. There's huge opportunities with renewable jet fuel, renewable natural gas, green hydrogen, which many of you may have heard of. There's a hydrogen powered car offered that's very popular in California right now, offered by Toyota. And then we're also exploring other bioprocesses and API manufacturing. Next slide, please. So at a glance, just to take you through the history of the Johnstown site, we started in 2008. We were 200 million liters of output at the time with the initial investment of $185 million, 52 employees. By now, in 2021, we're up to 69 employees. We've expanded our production. We're investing further money. And by next year, in 2022, we'll be trimming back our fuel production and making over 100 million liters per year of very high quality alcohol, which can be used in pharmaceuticals, medical grade, and sanitizers. And we should be at 73 employees by that point. Any questions?
Excellent. Thank you, Brendan. I'm going to invite Rich back on our screen here. And so for those of you watching, if you have a question, please go to the hand icon and submit your question, and we'll get that through. But, you know, we just came off a panel talking about workforce, and I was just chatting with Rich, and, you know, you are two big companies that are, you know, having to recruit technical skills and general labor. So I'm going to ask the question, Rich, first in the way of, you know, how has workforce been for 3M, and what are some of the things you're doing to attract people to this region?
So it has been a challenge. We ramped up very quickly, so we did need to attract many people very quickly to help support our new operation. We've had great success in the community. I think it starts with the value slide that I showed. We have very strong values, including those values is very strong culture, but also we value safety, and we value safety in our manufacturing facilities. So it's a great place to work. That word of mouth spreads through the community and helps support our hiring efforts for sure. We do need to support or to bring in technical staff as well, and we partner with universities, we partner with colleges. We do that at a Brockville level, but also at a 3M Canada level to help attract the type of technical talent that we need, and bring in people perhaps from outside the community that can provide some of the expertise that we need around chemistries, around technologies, and around automation to help in our facilities.
Super. Brendan, what are your thoughts on that in regards to your workforce and your recruitment that you've been undertaking? And I know your job numbers are a little lower than 3M, but you do have some amazing technical skills that you got to recruit too.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate in finding very good people in the area. I would agree with the comments made. You know, company culture, workplace safety play a huge factor in people making a decision to come join us. I think we've managed to really establish a great culture within the Greenfield organization, and a great culture here at the Johnstown site. And I believe, you know, word of mouth is out in the community about what it's like to work at Greenfield. You know, challenging people want more than just a job. They want a career. And I think you need to offer those opportunities for them to not only learn and, you know, use the skills they have, but learn and grow and build upon those and grow within the organization. So, you know, having those opportunities for people to be challenged and take on new learning opportunities is critical, I think, in today's market. I mean, you just have to also have good benefits and compensation. I think that goes without saying, but I said it anyway. So.
Super. No, and that's part of the challenge is, and I think both of you have mentioned about engaging with the education group that we've just talked to before in the way of looking to make sure the skills that you're needing, that you've engaged with those educational facilities to make sure, you know, maybe do you want to highlight some of that you've done already? You've mentioned about connecting with a university, and Brendan, I don't know if you've got one.
Yeah, we partner with some of the, sorry, Brendan, we partner with some of the universities, local universities or more local to Brockville and Queens and Ottawa to find people. We partnered with St. Lawrence College as well. And then we do that a little more extensively through our headquarters in London. So partnering with some of the schools around there, and some of the folks that we bring in with technical backgrounds will then come to Brockville. And I was mentioning to you off screen that once they come to Brockville, they don't want to leave. They love the community, they love the area here, and certainly it's easy to keep people once they're here.
I agree. Brendan, thoughts on that?
Yeah, a few examples. So a few years ago, we identified, you know, power engineering We have a lot of power engineers on site here running the process. And so that was a gap we had identified that we were struggling with, 5-6 years ago with respect to recruiting. So we started at the high school level and reached out to, I think, 6 or 7 of the local high schools and, communicated with them what the program was like, what that career in that field looks like, and then set up a bursary program. And so, we've awarded that bursary 4 or 5 times in the past 6 years, which we're very proud of. And then we also offer summer student employment, which is a great way to get, young people exposure to a work environment such as this. Because, coming out of high school, I think we've all been there. None of us really knew what we wanted to do. And you go and you try something out, you get exposure in a real workplace. And it really quickly helps you understand, hey, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? Do I find this engaging? Do I find this interesting? Or they very quickly say no. And I think having those opportunities for young people to figure that out is a good thing. We also have some fun with our summer students. We challenge them. We task them on a project each summer to accomplish, and they have to use, the actual ISO processes that we have in place at the site. So they learn that way. And it gives them an example of something they can take to a future interview where they get asked, what have you accomplished? And they can use that as an example. We've partnered with Queen's University. We've also done some research with some other universities in the area in terms of some of our smaller projects and backgrounds. And then, we try to be in the community as much as we can.
Super. Thanks, Brendan. We have a question that's come in, but I think they may need just a little bit of clarity on what your primary supply feed is from your plant facility. It says, does municipalities transport waste to the plant, or does Greenfield make arrangements to pick it up? So do you want to clarify on what your primary feedstock is?
Okay, primary feedstock at the plant in Johnstown is corn. I think the question is probably more tied to the Varennes facility, where they have the partnership with the local municipalities, especially with the bio waste. So it's a partnership of 27 municipalities in the Montreal area that got together, and there was some legislation that went in Quebec where they had a time where they were no longer allowed to put organic solids into landfill, and so that really set things up. So that that partnership built and constructed this anaerobic digester, and Greenfield's partnered with them as a consumer of that biogas at our facility. So that displaces natural gas combustion in our dryers and our thermal oxidizer and replaces it with green biogas. So in terms of the municipalities got together and kind of organized themselves. And so it's curbside pickup, and the organic bin goes to that facility to be turned into green gas.
Okay, so municipalities arranged first and then coordinated with Greenfield. How did that part go?
It's a long story. It developed over a 10-year period. And so, Greenfield has become a bit of an expert with anaerobic digestion. We had our research and development facility there. We had the need for green gas. We're very focused on sustainability. We are always trying to achieve net zero carbon emissions. We really look fondly on improving the environment that we exist in. And so over a 10 to 12 year period between, some consulting at all levels of government and some consulting between, the different municipalities, I think it kind of grew and turned into what it is. The municipalities had the need to get rid of their organic waste, and we offered some expertise to be able to help support them.
Fabulous. Well, I'm going to say there will probably be another conversation after this on that. So thank you, Carolyn, for asking that. Any wrap-up thoughts, comments in regards to, now I know you're both been come to this region and come back for you, Rich. Maybe we'll go to Rich first. Like, what has drawn you back here, and maybe Brendan, because you're new to this region somewhat.
Yeah. Well, certainly lifestyle has brought me back to the region. We were here as a family for about 10 years, back starting in 2005. We came back just recently. The lifestyle, everything that's available here in this community, including the people of the community, it always made us feel like we're at home, and that's one of the reasons we came back. The other reason is frankly the opportunity to work in Brockville and 3 in Brockville again, and the people there. The opportunity, the technology that we've got in Brockville, the growth potential that we have in Brockville, and working with the people there was also a big factor.
Great. Super. Brendan?
I'd say it's a combination of, a great company and a great opportunity with the business, but being familiar with the area. So, I'm from the East Coast of Canada originally. I've kind of worked all across the country. I've worked in the UK. My sister, for the longest time, lived in Ottawa. And so I'd visited the region many, many times between the mid-90s and 10 years ago. So I was familiar with it. I've driven by the site as it was being instructed. So I knew what was going on here. And, in terms of the people in the region, they are very welcoming. It's a beautiful region. I think it's got a lot more to offer than many give it credit for. And, you've got great amenities in a reasonable time frame around the area. You can get to big city life if you want in Ottawa. Montreal is only 2 hours away. You got the access to the US. There's some great history in the region as well. So I think it's got a lot to offer.
Fantastic. Well, we'll certainly give you your ambassador pins. Great job. And we're so fortunate to have both of your companies and you yourself as leaders in heading up both these expansions. And thank you. And if there's anything that other members of the community we can connect you to support your growth, we're more than happy to do that. So congratulations to you both and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.